Hey, welcome back. We're super excited today.
Yes.
Why?
For compost.
For compost. We think we've cracked the code in terms of how to make compost in Sicily. You see, the problem is, as you know, compost, or especially hot composting, which is what we like to do, requires moisture, water in the compost in order for the process to go, as well as air and, of course, the biomass. So the problem here is that it's hot and dry most of the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the compost sort of dries out before it's finished going through the decomposition process. And so you have to add water or compensate somehow for that. But we found a solution, and it requires two plants that are found in Sicily, although not many other places in the world. One of them is
Prickly pear.
prickly pear cactus. So the prickly pear is originally from North America, the southwest of North America, but it was introduced to Sicily probably hundreds of years ago with a lot of other plants, including tomato, things like that. But it has become part of the Sicilian landscape, really. It's difficult these days to imagine Sicily without the prickly pear. So one day, as I was pruning a prickly pear, I decided just to throw some of these leaves into my wood chipper and into the compost and just see what happens as an experiment. And sure enough, because it contains so much moisture and it's sort of almost like a gel-like substance that keeps the moisture there, the compost became really hot right away, and it went through the entire composting process without any need for additional water. And that was with a mixture of about 50% of the prickly pear. So I did some research, and sure enough, prickly pear compost is a thing, especially of course in the desert southwest of North America, and where they use 100% prickly pear for compost. But I found at least 50% is adequate for maintaining the moisture level, at least here, and not during the summer either. So that's, I guess, with a little bit of rain. So that's the one plant. The other plant is actually Posidonia. It's actually a type of seagrass or seaweed, and you can find it on the beaches here. Also did some research on Posidonia years ago, and it is used in compost here. In fact, there's a law even in Italy that says you can only use up to a certain amount of Posidonia in your compost. And that amount is 20% of your compost can be Posidonia by dry weight, and that's excluding the sand, is how the law is written. So we don't go anywhere near that. But the research shows that the food that results from growing your food in a Posidonia-rich compost is actually more nutritious than food that's grown in other kinds of compost or with other fertilizers. So it adds some nutritional value to your food on the one hand with Posidonia, and then with the prickly pear you get the moisture, and it actually is quite a good compost anyway. So you get a lot of the nutrient-rich properties of ordinary compost. So together, combined, you get nutritious food that grows really well, especially in these kind of arid, dry conditions.
So when you get your Posidonia from the beach, the first thing you're going to want to do is rinse it out. You're going to want to do it a couple of times, since too much salt in your compost can kind of hurt the plants. So you're going to want to rinse it out.